Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I got something really cool to take a look at today. As you guys can see, this is a Tamiya Top Force EVO kit. EVO, I guess, would be short for Evolution. This is a 2021 release of this four-wheel drive buggy. They originally came out with this in 1992. I don't really remember that car from back then. These cars were really out of price range back at that time. I was just out of high school at the time. But obviously older now, I can afford some more things, and these are still pretty pricey. But I really was excited to get my hands on this. So my daughter, Katy, who will be in this video later on, she helped me build like the Sand Viper and the Blitzer Beetle. She did some of it. She really wanted one of her own cars, so you know what, we'll get her a really good one. So this is going to sort of be Katy's build as well. She's going to help me on this. So she'll probably come in on the unboxing here we'll do in a moment to actually let you guys see what comes inside this kit. Now, some of the upgrades they did from this over the original would be like, I think the original didn't have carbon fiber shock towers. I think that was a little different on the original 92 version. Of course, the original one would not have come with an electronic speed controller. That was really expensive back then. An electronic speed controller, even for a brushed motor, was really expensive. So they would have had a manual speed controller you would have run off of a servo back then. But this is just a really nice kit, and with those upgrades, as I said, there's some other probably minor ones as well over the original kit. But otherwise, it's pretty similar to that original buggy. It's got the carbon fiber chassis. It has aluminum oil-filled shocks, and the aluminum shocks, if I could say it, were not common with Tamiya. They always use the plastic shocks in almost all their kits. So this actually has aluminum ones, which is really nice. And it's got dual ball differentials, being that this is four-wheel drive. The ball diffs are really efficient, and that'd be really nice for the front and the rear. Now, I've always wanted the more competitive class Tamiyas. You know, they didn't always make these. They came out with these around 1990 when they came out with the Astute. I actually owned that. That was not as expensive as this. This came out a few years later. It was even higher quality. The Astute was just a rear wheel or two-wheel drive buggy. Had a fiberglass chassis, and it had the plastic shocks, which are fine. But it did have a ball differential, which is the first time I'd actually seen one of those. And you don't see them too often, but they are really nice in the higher end RC stuff like this. So this also comes with a pre-painted body, which is unusual. Usually these Lexan bodies are just clear and you have to paint them yourself, which is fine. But this one, especially for Katy, have to be great. Hey, we don't have to worry about painting. We'll just put the decals on. So to make it a little bit easier, even though this is still a really high quality build. I don't think I'm going to do a build video for this. That's really tedious and takes a long time to film. And it's, you know, it's tough to get views on stuff like this. There's so much competition out there now to actually get a lot of views on a build video. But I do believe Kevin Talbot, one of the bigger YouTubers out there, actually did a video on this recently as well. I've been eyeing this for a while and saw his video, and of course he did a build video, which was nice. And of course that channel being so big got a ton of views. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to mess with that. What I'm going to do is we'll do an unboxing of this, show you guys everything that comes in this kit, and we'll just give you kind of close-ups of all those parts. And then once that's done, we'll come back with a follow-up video, sort of like I did with the Blitzer Beetle back here. We'll do an actual run video and show you the after it's all finished, what it looks like. And then we'll take it out, maybe bash it in a separate video with maybe the Blitzer Beetle alongside. I'll drive that, and I'll probably let Katy drive this since it's going to be her car. So I think that pretty much covers the little intro there. Let's go ahead and get over to the unboxing portion here. We'll be back with that with Katy to actually go over all that in just a moment, guys. Alright guys, let's go ahead and unbox the Top Force EVO. Katy, as you can see, is sitting back here. She's just going to help me take out some of the stuff. We'll look it over. Kind of go over all the stuff that comes with the kit. And then of course, like I said, we'll have a follow-up video once the build is complete. And we'll do a driver review of that as well. Now, before we do the unboxing here, I did want to mention a few things I forgot to mention at the intro here. Is I am going to go brushless with this. And I picked up a brushless kit, and I decided to go with a different one. I usually go with those Ghoul RC ones. I wanted to go something a little different. This is a 3900 kV, a 3650 brushless motor, and this little cheap ESC. This kit came here together $40 off eBay. It says it's 120 amp. There's no way that's what this is. 120 amp. We've got to handle at least 4S. This is just a probably a 45 amp. That's probably what it is. They throw these fake 120 amp stickers on these. So this is what we're going to put in there for the power. And then I got a little servo I picked up on eBay for like $8, a little digital metal gear servo. This ought to be just fine for the steering. And I got a Dumbo RC. Let's see, which one is this one? It is the X6F, I believe. Yeah. And this, I'll bind this to one of my 2 or 3 Dumbo RC radios I have around here for the control of the car. So that's what we'll have for the radio system. Let's go ahead and open up the box. As you can see, it's all sealed still. And then we'll see what's all inside of this kit. So let's go ahead and just kind of try to break the film on it. And let's see, Katie, you want to help me pull the film off here, and we'll get the seal broken. There we go. Get this cool car out. Alright, throw this film off to the side. Alright, Katie, let's go ahead and open this up and see what's all inside here. You gonna help me? Pull up and I'll hold the bottom. Alright. Let's just set this off to the side here. I'm going to put it on the floor so we don't knock it off. Here is everything. Now you can see here is the pre-painted body, and this is also cut. So we don't have to, it looks like it might be stapled to the side of this, so we'll have to pull this off, hold it in place. As with all Tamiya stuff, let's put it down, Katie, because the camera's down here, okay, hon? She was trying to hold it up for you guys, but she was holding it above the camera. Tamiya stuff is just incredibly well packaged and just well presented. Now they don't necessarily do the bubble. They used to do, in the earlier Tamiya kits, they had this little bubble, like the highest quality parts, they would put these little bubble, I don't know what else to call them. It was almost like a shrink wrap, but they were hard. You had to cut the parts out. It like presented all the highest quality parts. I love that. They don't really do that anymore. But anyway, here is that body. We have to just apply the decals. We don't have to worry about cutting it. We don't have to worry about painting it, you know, unless you wanted to paint it a different color. So there's that. All right, here is Katie wants to show us. There is some of the parts in this box. We got the tires down here. These knobby spike type tires. These are obviously not going to be ideal for on road because they're going to wear off pretty quick. But these are perfect for off-road. We've got some more parts here, and we've got the orange rims or the actual wheels themselves. That looks like that is probably the ESC, Katie. This is that ESC that they include now. This is for a brushed motor like the 540 motor that comes with this, and it'll also work on censored brushless systems. Again, we're not going to use that. I don't ever use those. Here's a whole other bag with a bunch of the gears. We have to open this up. Here's some more of the parts. Your typical, the plastic molded parts here for the actual kit. You give us all the Tamiya stuff with the different letters for each one, just like any model kit. But since this chassis is carbon fiber, we'll have a little bit less plastic than some of the others. You see inside here we got some of the gears, and they are still like a nylon. It looks like these here don't appear to be, these look like they're maybe 48 pitch. I'm not sure. I know on my original Astute it had, what was it, like 64 pitch or 72 pitch? I forget what that really high fine pitch or really quiet. I don't think that looks like that's quite that many teeth, but those also tend to you can shear off or shred really easily, so that's one thing to keep in mind. But they're also very efficient and very quiet when you get that pitch. But let's go ahead and we'll open this up here. Katie's got the antenna here. She's wobbling around at me. The antennas, as you know, this is more common with the older radio frequency, radio kits. You can still use them. The antennas don't seem to be as important. Like as long as it's inside the car, like it doesn't seem to need. It would definitely help the range if you put them up. They already have pretty good range. The antennas are not as important as they used to be, at least as far as I could ever tell. You don't see as many cars nowadays even come with an antenna on them. So here are some of those gears. You can see here, and of course there's going to be quite a few because we got, that's part of the goes the hubs next to the wheel. These we have quite a few gears because we got 2 gearboxes, the front and the rear. Here's our front bumper. Here's some more of them again, and you can see this is going to be part of the ball diff. These are the part of the ball diff, the little bitty balls that go in here, and then you grease those, and those slide back and forth for the differential, so you don't have the 3 differential gears like you do in a lot of the other ones. Those are more efficient than the traditional differential kits. Get some more parts here. This looks like some of the parts. This is parts of the shocks, I believe. Now again, like I said, the shocks for this are aluminum. So I imagine that's all going to be in the box that Katy's holding on to. And then we've got your instruction manual here. This looks fantastic. Again, as I mentioned with all these Tamiya kits, you'll never beat Tamiya's instruction manuals. They are top of the line. And even when it comes down to being able to get the right sizes, you can just use they're all drawn to scale. So you can put the part down and get the right size from the instruction manual. You don't have to actually have a caliper or a ruler out to necessarily measure something if you don't want to. And here are the decal sheet, which is all we'll have to worry about with the body since it's already pre-painted and pre-cut. I wish Tamiya would do, not necessarily pre-painting, because I like the idea of being able to paint a car however you want, but it'd be nice if they just cut the bodies out on all of them. That way it makes it a lot easier, because you cut that with the scissors and a knife and you get some jaggedy corners. You can really mess that up if you're not experienced, and it just won't look as good as if they cut it in the factory like that. Alright, Katy, let's go ahead and open that box up and let's see what is in that box. Let's move this off to the side. She's going to hand it to me and I'll cut it and we'll see. This will have some, this is going to be like what you would see in the bubble, the little shrink wrap bubble presentation that they used to use. You know, probably the last car I bought that had that would have been the, it was like the Stadium Blitzer. I forget the name. It was another version of that truck. Back in 1997 I bought. All their cars used to come with that. And here is the carbon fiber chassis. This is going to be super strong and of course extremely lightweight. This is top-notch stuff. And we've got some, here are the aluminum shocks it looks like in here. Maybe, I think, is that part? Oh, that's actually some of the supports that go in the middle. That's not the shocks. This is RC bag F. So we can see we got some, looks like some, maybe some foam, maybe some double-sided tape. What's this, Katy? This is some of the metal pieces to the differential, I believe. Some of the washers and shims and different stuff. Let's back it up here. It won't focus, Katy. Here's some more parts. Here's the carbon fiber shock towers. Which again, I don't think that was, I don't believe it was carbon fiber on the original Top Force EVO. And here's some more supports. And here is that 540 brushed motor. We're not going to use this. This is fine. These are very reliable brushed motors. You can see it's rather lightweight. This will be just fine to get you up and going. It's just not going to be super fast. But these are reliable and these will run a long time. And let's see, this they just say genuine Tamiya motor on them. I don't know who makes these now. They were always Mabuchi 540 motors is all they use. They didn't have the Tamiya genuine motor on, and it could very well still be who makes these. Just kind of like what you see in a power drill or something, these kind of motors. And let's see, can we find the aluminum shocks? I'm trying to figure out if we can figure out which bag. Is it just in this one? Here we go. Here they are. These are the aluminum shocks. You can see these are metal, and we got the springs here, and here is that same soft yellow Tamiya soft dampening oil that they include with all these. They have some other weights, but this is the one they usually use their go-to one. And I love if they use these. The plastic ones that they include, as I mentioned before, are just fine. They work really well. These ought to be a little better. These look a little better. Most of the shocks nowadays, not all of them, but most of your RC cars come with aluminum or metal oil. When the shocks are oil-filled, they're usually metal oil-filled shocks. And we can see some of the ball bearings here. These here do not look like sealed. I don't know offhand if this comes with some sealed. They used to, even like my Astute, came with some sealed ball bearings that were for the gearbox so they don't gum up. and then you had regular ball bearings for the wheels. I don't know, we'll have to, when we dig into this kit, we'll find that out, exactly what ball bearings are all included, but I'm pretty sure this comes with a full set. And like I said, I don't know if there's any sealed ones in here or not. The ball bearings may be in, usually like on my Sand Viper, there was just one little bag with their ball bearings, and I had used some Fast Eddies, I think, bearings instead on mine. But we'll have to see when we dig in here if there's actually some sealed ones or not. We can see here, here's some of the little balls for the ball diff. Here's one of the pinion gears. Here's another gear. These are some of the metal ones. This, of course, this is being four-wheel drive. It's gonna have, like I said, extra gears, more gears than typical. So, all right, guys, that should be enough to unbox. I know it wasn't a real in-depth. We didn't want to dig into every part because, for one, we're going to get these bags out. The best way to do it, I've never done it this way, is get a bunch of bins and label them with the parts. You can pour them all out. I might consider doing that. That is a really good way of doing it, but I usually just dig around and keep them in the bags, but I might consider getting some cups and doing that as for the build. That's always a good idea for these, but that's one reason I didn't go digging into these. I don't want to get parts misplaced or something knocked off on the floor. I want to keep everything together, so we're just going to kind of look at every bag and all the parts that comes with this, and some of the high quality stuff like this carbon fiber chassis. All right, guys, that wraps up the unboxing for the Top Force EVO. I'm with Katy here. We're going to build this over the next week or two, whenever our spare time. And then, of course, we'll be back with a video so you guys can see the final product. And we'll get it outside for a drive review, and we'll let Katy drive it since it's her car. All right, guys, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. While you're at it, click the bell. That way you're notified every time I upload a new video. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day.
The power of the dark side.